Yo guys, InsaneGamer52 here, and today I'm going to show you how to do the full main Easter egg on the new Vanguard Zombies map, the Archon. Alright, so the first thing you need to do on this map is to open up Pack-a-Punch. Thankfully, you can see exactly where the pieces are to make this a bit easier. The first piece is to the south of spawn on top of this train by the orange fountain. The second piece is to the northeast of spawn on top of this planeway by the red fountain. Take both of those parts back to the Pack-a-Punch machine and interact with it to start the ritual. All you have to do is kill the zombies that spawn and you'll complete the ritual and unlock new parts of the map. This will also spawn a pedestal in front of you just like the one on Shinonuma. Interact with this pedestal and you'll place the bronze mirror on it. This will make Kortifnal appear saying that you fell into his trap and freed him. Once the dialogue is over, a portal will spawn. Interact with that portal and you will be taken to the Dark Aether and see Kortifnal and the construct in front of you. Here you will have to kill a wave of zombies until the construct downs everyone in the game. Don't worry though, you will get revived and sent back to the map. Now you will have to complete 3 trials to remove the chains on the portal to the Dark Aether. The first one is the trial of Mindfulness to the northeast of spawn. For this you will need to get a shovel and dig around the obelisk and you'll dig up a red orb that flies to the wall. Interact with the orb and some symbols will appear on the wall. You have to remember the order that those symbols appear for a 3-round game of Kortifnal says. The first round will have 4 symbols, the second will have 5, and the third will have 6 symbols. If you have multiple people in your game, I suggest having each person remember a couple symbols to make this a bit easier. You have to stand on the runes on the ground in the order that the symbols appeared on the wall. If you do it correctly, you will have to survive a random challenge to move on to the next round. I suggest not shooting when you start this challenge since one of the possibilities is to survive without getting kills. Once you get the third sequence correct, the orb will fly above the obelisk and you'll be able to start the trial of Mindfulness. This will spawn a bunch of runes on the ground that you have to capture while avoiding damaging zombies. To do this, you should take advantage of the Zabala that spawns and have her energy mine attacks stun your train of zombies. This will give you enough time to capture about 2 runes per stun. You can also use Aether Shroud, stuns, and decoys to help you out too. Next up is the Trial of Resilience by the Blue Fountain. To start this one, you will need to shoot the small Aether Crystals on top of the cliffs. One of these will spawn another red orb that flies over to this wall. Now you will have to find 3 cursed items scattered around the map and bring them back to the orb. The first one is right across from the yellow fountain in the second floor of the Bazaar building. The second one is on this table across from the green fountain in the tents area. And for the third one, you will need to dig it up in the derailment area around the orange fountain. When you bring the third cursed item back to the orb, it will fly to the decimator shield and drop it on the ground. Whoever picks up the decimator shield is the player who has to interact with the obelisk to start the Trial of Resilience. This will spawn a bunch of siphon cores by the blue and red fountains. The player with the decimator shield has to use its blast ability to destroy these. If you see 2 near each other, I suggest using the blast between them so you don't have to wait for as many blasts to charge up. There's a 30-second cooldown between blasts, so you do have to be pretty quick with this. When you destroy a siphon core, you will be able to fill a chalice from its remains. You have to take every chalice to the parched fountain to fully fill it up and complete the trial. And the last one is the Ritual of Sacrifice in the derailment area by the orange fountain. For this trial, you will need some sort of fire, so I suggest picking up Molotovs or Thermite if you see them on the ground. You have to light 3 torches with a piece of fire equipment to get this ritual started. The first torch is inside this train car right on top of the hill. The second torch is on the side of this knocked over train car right as you enter the area. And the third torch is on this box just past that. This will spawn another red orb that requires you to sacrifice a Pack-a-Punch weapon to activate it. I suggest hitting the box to get a weapon that you don't mind getting rid of. Sacrificing a weapon will spawn this beefed up Sturmkrieger. Once you kill him, the orb will fly on top of the obelisk. When you interact with it, you'll see 4 other obelisks spawn in the area. You have to charge up these obelisks by getting kills while inside a ring of fire. If you're not running ring of fire, you can go up to this rune tablet to automatically swap out your field upgrade. The trick to doing this quickly is to start by getting kills near the central obelisk on top of the train car. This one isn't required for the trial, but when you charge it, you will get a full power to charge up everyone's ring of fire. Then go back to every obelisk and get kills while inside the ring of fire. You'll know that each obelisk is done when you see a red beam go towards the central obelisk. When you finish the 4th obelisk, you'll get a bunch of rewards and be ready to go to the final boss fight. I suggest upgrading your gun to at least Pack-a-Punch 2, getting decent covenants, and upgrading your field upgrade at the Tome of Rituals before starting the boss fight. It will also be helpful to have that ring of fire from the last step so that you deal extra damage and don't have to worry about reloading when attacking the boss. Oh, and make sure to bring the decimator shield into the boss fight to make things much easier. Alright, when you're ready to go to the final boss fight, head back to this portal and enter the Dark Aether. Kortifnal will appear in the sky and talk about how you shouldn't have been able to pass the trials. Then he will get huge and go full on boss mode. In this first phase of the boss fight, the Archon has 3 attacks. When he waves his arms up in the air, he's going to summon electric areas on the ground that damage you if you walk into them. When he summons 4 red balls in his hands, he will start spawning a bunch of zombies all around the area. There is a limited amount of zombies, so kill them quickly and you won't have to worry. And his third attack is creating a giant orb of death and throwing it towards the battlefield. This orb will instantly kill you if you get near it, but thankfully there's an easy way to destroy it. If you hold out the decimator shield, you can block and destroy the orb, which saves you from oodles of pain trying to avoid it while other attacks are going on. Between each of his attacks, he will just stand pretty still. Use this time to shoot the red orb glowing in his forehead. I found it best to use a ring of fire in front of him if there's no zombies around and have everyone absolutely blast until his next attack. If everyone has adequately prepared for this, you can finish this phase of the fight during just 1 ring of fire. Here's my recommended Einhorn revolving shotgun loadout that made this whole fight very easy once we figured out the mechanics. The most important thing here is the Klauser 710mm O2B barrel so that you have the range to be able to hit the boss. When you get through the first third of his health, the rest of the map will open up and you can pack a punch, buy armor, and craft items. After a bit, you will be teleported to the second battle area, but this time around he has a shield around him. You'll notice there are aether crystals around the battlefield that drop crystal shards when you shoot them. What you need to do is throw those crystal shards into flowers around the area. After a bit of time, the flower will explode and drop a corrupted crystal shard. You need to throw that corrupted crystal shard at one of the floating rocks around this area, which will send it flying towards the Archon. When you do this to 3 rocks, the Archon will get stunned and drop his shield and you'll be able to shoot his eyes. He has the same attacks in this section, but they're a little more deadly. In the first section, you could intercept his death orb mid-air, but here you have to wait until it hits the ground to destroy them. The electric areas on the ground are also a lot stronger and will one-shot you if you touch them. When you deal another third of his health, the map will open up again and you'll be able to prepare for the final phase. This phase is just like the second one, except that he also has an attack where his hands glow green and he'll heal himself. The other attacks are all the same, and all you need to do is throw 3 corrupted crystal shards at the nearby floating rocks to take his shield down. When you kill him, he will roar in pain and fall into the abyss behind him. Surprisingly enough, there's no cutscene when you beat this Easter egg. But you will get a free tier of every perk, 5,000 bonus points, and a free wunderwaffe. Honestly, this is a pretty fun Easter egg, and that boss fight is definitely the best thing in Vanguard. If you found any part of this guide helpful, let me know by dropping a thumbs up. And feel free to subscribe for more in-depth guides in the future. Alright, that's all I got. I'll see you guys next time.